I'm coming. Still out on the same walk here with my kids. This is a oh, the ice is breaking over there. Pretty cool. Yeah, on a walk with my kids right now. Just like you guys, juggling a zillion different things. And I actually think that's what makes Endurance Mentors a great coaching choice for a lot of athletes who are either new to triathlon or who just are really busy and need to find the time and figure out how to do it best. All right, so you have hopefully finished 1 month of training. I'm sure you've learned a lot. I'm sure you've learned some of what is working for you, and you're probably learning maybe more about what's not working for you. That's totally normal. Don't sweat it. Life will absolutely get in the way at times, and that is a-okay. All right, let's talk about some tips for month 2. So let's get into intensity. Now, the first month of this plan, actually, I'm sorry, the whole plan is based on an aerobic level of output, okay? Some athletes, depending on where you're starting this from, may be able to add some more intensity into their workouts. This is not for everybody, and you absolutely do not have to do this to be successful at triathlon, okay? This could be something that is appropriate for some and not others. But I do want to just put this out there because there may be athletes who are just feeling fine right now after 1 month of training, and they want to say, like, I want to add a little bit more in. Here's what I would do if you fall into that category, okay? First of all, you may have heard of the 80-20 rule. If you are in a position where you're feeling pretty good, you're easily able to handle the aerobic workload that this training plan has you doing, then you could start to add in some interval sets, maybe to your long bike or your long run on the weekends. Or conversely, you can take one of the sets during the week and add some intensity. Do this slowly if this is something that you want to try and do. Any kind of higher intensity workout is going to put quite a bit of strain on your body, and you're going to have to recover from that. So start slow, okay? So maybe add in some intensity sets as you are pick a workout, add a couple of intensity sets, and then don't do it again for a couple more days. See how your body responds. If you respond well, then okay, maybe you're on the right track, but ratchet that up very, very slowly. Stick to that 80-20 rule, like we just quickly mentioned. 80% of the time, keep it at that aerobic pace. If 20% of the time you want to start to maybe increase the intensity a little bit, you can give that a shot. If you have any questions about what that might look like for you specifically, don't hesitate to reach out to us at Endurance Mentors. We can help you walk through that process. Okay, fueling. Now, month 1, we talked about make sure you're just fueling everything appropriately. Make sure that you're fueling every workout. This is just the smartest way to go about doing it. What you might want to consider now, though, is thinking about, like, what is sitting well with your stomach? What is working for you, what is not? Because ultimately on race day, you are going to want to think about, what is going to kind of put me in the best position. Obviously, you need the fuel for the carbohydrates, for the electrolytes, for actually completing the race. But also, too, the question is, hey, like, how does it sit in my stomach? Questions like that are pretty real. And what I would say for you is give it a shot now. Figure out those things now before you get into a position where you have to, race with something you haven't quite worked out yet. A great place to start, or start thinking about right now from a fueling perspective, is what are they going to serve on the race course? Because a lot of your race day nutrition planning, sorry, I'm walking uphill here. A lot of the race day nutrition planning, the fueling planning, I should say, comes down to, what is being served on the course. Now would be a good time to maybe work that out. Figure out what they're going to serve at your first 70, at this 70.3, and then give it a shot, see how it sits with you. That way you'll know if you have to supply all of the fuel for your race, or if you can take advantage of what's going on the, take advantage of what they're serving on the race course. Okay, back to nutrition. So in the first video, kind of month one, we talked about sticking to some of the basics that like, again, what healthy means, eating a balanced meal, not cutting back on calories. To reach your goal, you're going to need these calories on board. But a question that oftentimes comes up from athletes is around alcohol. So I figured what I would take just a moment to talk about right now is alcohol's impact on training. I'm not here to tell anybody that you have to stop drinking altogether, or that, alcohol is terrible for endurance training. I love to have a drink just like many people do. But here's the deal, and here's the way I think about alcohol in terms of training. The closer I get to a race, the less alcohol I consume. And the reason why that's typically what I recommend if anybody asks. I don't push this on anybody, but if somebody asks, this is what I say. The bottom line is, to me, alcohol really impacts my sleep. And I'm sure many of you are the exact same way. So sleep is my number one recovery tool. It is yours too, by the way. When it comes to how do you recover from your training, right? We're training a ton right now. We need to make sure that our body is able to recover from that training. And our number one way to do that is to sleep. Well, alcohol messes with my sleep. So the more I'm training, if I'm adding intensity in, like we talked about before, that is really where I'm looking to cut back on alcohol consumption, because quite frankly, it's not going to help. That's really what it boils down to. There's no world where consuming alcohol is going to help your training. The reality is it's probably going to be a limiting factor, and you're already putting so much effort into this, and you're watching this video right now, so you care about the results, you care about doing a good job. Maybe put the alcohol aside or cut back for a little while, and that's typically a sign that an athlete is taking things very seriously, and that they're committed to getting a good result, or getting a result that they're content with. All right, coaching tip to end this video. You are a month in. You've probably realized by now that life will get in the way at some point in your training. No training plan goes perfectly. There are, you might have weeks where you're very consistent, and then I'm looking at my kids up the trail here. The kids get sick, something happens, you got to maybe get something at work. We all know how this really goes. And it is 100% okay if your training plan does not go perfectly. That is a normal thing and not something that you should fret about. What you should do is just stay positive and move on. I would typically not try to make up any workouts. If you have to miss something one day, don't try to make it up. Just stay consistent. Listen, if you can't do it one day, move on to the next day, and that is 100% okay. And that's frankly probably your best bet for staying recovered, keeping your body in a place where it can continue to work hard, while also, mentally keeping yourself sane as well, because you're balancing a lot, and training is it adds a lot to everybody's plate. So, all right, thank you so much. I hope the next 4 weeks go very well for you. If you need anything from us, of course, reach out. I'll make sure that everything is in the description of this video. We would love to work with you. That's why we're doing these. And I hope that you have a great next month of training, and I'll see you in about 4 weeks. Take care.